What a win. What a win in the pits of New Jersey, the Meadowlands. Man, going into that game, I expected a 24-20 win. I did not expect what we saw today. And you know what's funny? Jalen Hurts did what he had to do to win. Saquon Barkley was incredible. We all expected him to go into the Meadowlands and show up his former team, but he was outstanding. Christian McCaffrey esque times more. It was awesome. It's always awesome to beat the Giants, but this was a special win because we got back on track. We're ready to rock and roll. And honestly, I couldn't ask for a better win today. Defense balled the fuck out. Malik Neighbors got put in handcuffs today. He had like 4 catches for 41 yards. He had nothing all day. And this is a guy coming into the game that was he was touted as a top 5 wide receiver in the league this year. So I'm very proud of this group. I can't wait to see what happens this Sunday, and it's good to be back on track. What's up, Scott?
What's going on, Kyle? Just to piggyback what off you said, finally a dominant win. Like I texted you, finally a beautiful win. Winning 28-3. We pretty much turned the Giants into those old 3-13 Giants. They were kind of having like a little bit of a respectability, playing the Cowboys close, getting those couple little random wins there. But this is the same old Giants team. Don't let the fucking whoever fool you. It's the same cast of characters, and they're just down one in Saquon Barkley now. And now he's an Eagle. Super, probably his best performance of the year, 176 yards rushing, 186 yards total, 11 receiving yards. Just absolutely blazed, trucked, ran over people. And this is exactly what I wanted to see, and I did predict this. Just a little bit. I thought this was the week to do it. Now they did start off slow. They had those couple, they were trading back and forth, no points drives, punting the ball, but then they just finally broke through and took over the entire game. And this Giants team just did not show up to play. I mean, just think of like even when the game was literally so out of reach, they're literally running into Brandon Mann, the punter, and giving us a fresh set of downs. Like they were just so mentally out of it, even at that point. You know what I mean? Mistake after mistake after mistake. And again, me and you called it. Like, look at this defense now holding a team to 3 points. Like, get the fuck out. Like, the Falcons game. Yes. Like, before that last drive, they were amazing the whole game. I think people are being way too rough on this defense. Seriously. Like, they, besides the Tampa game, which again, is the offense fell apart too. So it wasn't just on the defense. Not like it was a shootout and the defense gave up all these points. The offense didn't do shit. Every other game, we could have. I mean, we only didn't. The only other game was the Falcons game, but the defense kept you in every other single game. The Packers game, when Hurts threw 2 picks in the first quarter, they didn't let them score touchdowns. The Saints game, how great was the defense in that game? Cleveland, they held the offense to what, 3 points or whatever it was, or 10 points,
Yeah,
and then
there
today,
was a run, there was a blocked field goal run back for a touchdown, but that was about it.
exactly. So I mean, there's a lot to be positive about here. Now, I do want to ask you because we know we need to get back on track, but we do know that this stretch was against cupcakes teams pretty much with the Browns, Giants. Now we do have the Bengals next week, so that'll be a pretty good test, and then the Jaguars after that.
Right.
So how like going 2-0 after the bye? How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling a lot better than I was last week after the Browns loss. Oh well, Browns win. You know,
Might as well, right?
it's funny because I went to the loss because it felt like a loss. We won, but we won in the nastiest way possible. And honestly, everyone was talking shit about Nick and how he was chirping at fans after the game and whatnot. After this week, you're not going to hear any of that because we played outstanding. It was one of the most magnificent coached games I've seen out of Nick in his tenure as a Philadelphia Eagles head coach. And we ran the ball, ran the ball, ran the ball. We had to throw when we had to. Now, if there is for every positive, there is a con. All right. Now, I have to say a negative. We all know this. Jalen Hurts still has to be better. All right. Him reading the other side of the ball, it's got to get better. If it doesn't, it's going to be a problem against the better teams. The New York Giants couldn't run the ball against us. They couldn't throw the ball against us. Daniel Jones is awful. Quinyon Mitchell is a stud. Darius Slay's a stud. We all know this. But at the end of the day, when we're playing teams like San Fran, the Baltimore Ravens, we don't play San Fran to the playoffs, but the Baltimore Ravens, you need to have your star quarterback play better and more balanced. That's the only negative I'll say. I'm not going to hate on Jalen Hurts today because he did well enough to win. He threw right in the breadbasket of AJ Brown. He's a fucking stud, AJ Brown, and we got the job done. So for this week, I'm not going to hate on Hurts all that much. That was the one negative, though. That's what I will say.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to be negative either because I think everyone played well today. But I guess the only argument that you can make, and we shouldn't be comparing Jalen Hurts to a Patrick Mahomes, but if Patrick Mahomes had AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley, he would just be like 50-0. Like he would just never lose,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Like, so you have top, let's just call it for what it is now. These are two top three players at their positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the entire league.
So I'll go as far to say, now I agree with you. I think you said this somewhere earlier in the season. I actually think AJ Brown, and I'm not being biased about this, I think AJ Brown could potentially be up there with the best wide receiver category in the league. Honestly,
Oh,
I mean,
100%. And I think he's more valuable than Saquon Barkley, even after Barkley's amazing performance today.
100%, because every target that was caught went to AJ Brown, and we expected him to catch the ball because he's a stud. Even when that ball was thrown deep down the field when it really shouldn't have been, he caught that shit. And it's like this guy is absolutely incredible. I put him up here with Justin Jefferson. He's a winner. We win whenever he's on the field. Whenever he's off the field, it's blatantly obvious he's off the field. And you cannot lose this guy for a significant amount of time. If you do, you're going to have problems. Now, like I said, I don't want to talk too much hate today, but the negatives are kind of glaring when it comes to Hurts and A.J. Brown being off the field if he's hurt. But other than that, I'm happy. So, honestly, it is what it is.
Wait, so I'm sorry, I might have missed that because I did have a couple drinks today. I did have a little get together at my place. You said AJ went out at one point?
No, so if AJ does go out at one
Oh,
point,
you're saying hypothetically.
yeah, hypothetically, we saw in the first couple weeks, the first 5 weeks of the season, if he goes out, we're a very vanilla offense. Like we're not going to fool other defenses, but when he's on the field, it opens so many things.
Well, you have to think about it. He's so much better than, I'm going to say he is a lot better than Devontae Smith. I know you're high
Oh
on
yeah.
Devontae Smith. And then the tight ends, like then the other wide receivers, like there's no one else on his level besides Saquon. Even when Dallas Goedert comes back, so that's why there's just such a big drop off.
Mm-hmm.
Because no one is even, again, I would call Devontae Smith good to very good. Again, he's more of a good player to me. That's just my personal opinion. I'm still a fan, but he's not a game changer. He's a good wide receiver.
Right.
And Saquon's amazing. He is a game changer. But outside of that, it has to be the quarterback.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Correct, 100%. And honestly, like I said, like it is the New York Giants. I bash on the Giants every week. I talk to you how bad they are, and I'm not going to take anything away from that. Usually I would say you put up a tough fight in your own house because you wanted
terrible. I can't wait to watch Bad Dogs video. I haven't watched it yet.
You played. You looked the worst I've seen you look in like the last 5 years, and that's saying a lot. And
yeah,
and
because again, I think they were trying to feed us and the media and maybe the Giants at they're we're not fucking 1-15. We're like they're like 7-10. But like, bro, you looked like worse than the Browns because I mean we struggled more against the Browns than you in your own stadium. So.
No, like it's crazy because Saquon Barkley picked the rival Eagles over the New York Giants. He picked to go against.
But did they offer him the contract though?
It doesn't. It does not matter. Okay,
yeah,
I know Saquon's like I love the team that drafted me, but I'm an Eagle now. Listen. I'm actually with the Giants fans on this one. You could go to any other team, not Philly. He was definitely trying to get back at the New York Giants by signing with Philly. 110%.
There was also rumors of him with Houston. You remember that Houston was an option? Yeah.
Yeah, and if he was on Houston, Joe Mixon would probably be in Philly. So, I mean, you have to look at it that way. And I'm happy that we have Saquon Barkley because Joe Mixon, he's a great running back, but he's not Saquon. So.
No, and just to, talk about this game a little bit more. We were finally in a position where we just felt like such the better team, so much more dominant. Like we could do whatever we wanted to. Like there was just, and again, there was no chance in hell the Giants were ever going to come back. Like this was just such
Mhm.
a secure win that we have not felt since when, Kyle? I mean, I would probably say 2022 almost. Like, I don't
Yeah,
remember
the
a game
playoff.
last year where we
Yeah,
had this, like, there was just no odds. There no chance we were going to lose
yeah.
at any point.
Yeah, no, when we went up 14-0, I was like, yeah, this game's like they can come back if they really tried, but then we'd have to fall really flat and it just there was no way possible that was happening. So it was one of those games where, yeah, I have to agree with you in 2022 playoff game-esque kind of game, yeah.
No, exactly. I think it's the first time they've won more than one score since the Miami Dolphins game last year, and that was October 22nd. So it's almost an entire year where they've won by more than, 7 points or more. So we finally get that monkey off our back. Of course, we still haven't scored on our first possession, but hopefully that is coming. Let's talk about this defense a little bit. Obviously, now let's just call for what it is. The Giants have been trying to fix that goddamn offensive line for 10 years,
Awful.
at least.
Awful.
And we saw Jalen Carter get after it. This defense completely smoked Daniel Jones, who again, I mean, they played the Bengals on Sunday night, 17-7. It was respectable until the end of the game. So we again turned them back into that 3-13 team that they were just terrible for years.
Correct.
So, and I also think their O line is better than it has been the past 5 to 7 years. I mean, it has to be. Like, if you're fucking still trying to fix that shit, like it was a little bit better. So I'm gonna give our team and Jalen Carter and our defensive line credit for the pressure and the sacks that they got today.
See,
Would you
see, I,
agree?
I, I would give you credit on that whole offensive line thing and the Giants thinking it's better, but when Bryce Huff has his first sack of the season on that offensive line, this is a guy we're talking about looking like a little kid on the football field, and he gets a sack and he joins the party. No, their offensive line is absolute garbage, and it's not getting any better. It's really not, and they have to draft perfectly for like the next 3 years to be a competent football
They've
team.
been trying to do that for how long,
Yeah, a long time, a
right?
long time. So I mean, it's funny because yeah, I like to bash on the Giants. I like to kick them when they're down. Trust me, I hate the Giants. I love bullying the Giants into the ground when they're 2-15 or whatever. I think it's fun. I'm against bullying, but when it comes to the Giants, you just keep on punching them to the ground. It's great. But at the end of the day, listen, it's getting kind of boring because they're not getting better. It's not a rivalry. The only time they
We don't
kicked our
even
ass is
have any
when we gave
rivals right
up.
now. Kyle, we don't have any, really. Is Washington going to be our new rival? Seriously,
Not
right?
anymore because Jaden Daniels is hurt.
Wow. I didn't even see that. And did they beat Carolina?
Yeah, they killed him.
And when did he get hurt?
He got hurt in like the first quarter, and Marcus Mariota came in. It didn't even matter.
Wow. So that's unfortunately, prayers go out to him. We don't do we know is this like season ending or just
Oh well, they said it's a rib injury, and he didn't return, so it was pretty.
so at least like we know with I remember the biggest rib injuries I remember was with McNabb when he really had those. I think he might have played through a broken rib too at one point, but it's like the breathing, like you literally it's like you're getting the wind knocked out of you and you like literally can't catch your breath. So I would have to say that's probably I don't want to say a month, but at least 2 to 3 games.
Yeah, I would say like it's a Michael Vick injury, like 2 to 3 weeks possibly.
And we
Um,
also know that that does not heal.
yeah,
Like you can come back, but like one hit to it, and it's like you're still gonna be in pain. Again, this obviously is that a competitive advantage for us, yes, but we're not in that, it's not the same type of time or league where, it's such a weird dynamic because I'm all for big hits and fucking going out there and destroying someone. Obviously, we don't wish injury against anyone, but of course, it's easier to play Marcus Mariota than Jaden Daniels. So, I mean, it's in our favor now.
no,
I mean,
absolutely, and Jaden Daniels is a scary athlete for sure. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he were back for the Thursday night football game against us in November. I mean, but
but
at the end
again,
of
his
the day,
first game back, he's just not going to be as good if he was, on a roll or just, you know what I mean? So.
correct. So like that's nor here nor there. The fact that we're going to be at the top of the division soon, it's a good feeling. But this was also a very good victory, and Yeah, some people in the comment section basically said Barkley had a great game. We know Jordan, he had a phenomenal, not a great game, he had a spectacular game.
His
And
best, Kyle, his best game ever.
yeah, I would have to say so. And it comes on the Philadelphia Eagles. That's when he had his best game ever today. Yeah,
I would
because
agree.
the reason why this is the best game he's ever had is because he had, in my opinion, he had pressure, all the pressure in the world on him because he wanted to prove the Giants fans wrong today. You know, for a fact, he was seeing the people burning his jerseys in the parking lot. He even
That
admitted it.
was. I know. Is there going to be national coverage about that? Like us throwing snowballs at Santa? Right?
No, because it's not Philly. You know, it's
I
Jersey.
know, right?
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day,
We only did that once, I can remember, and that was for TO, if I remember correctly.
yep. Yeah.
But
And it's like, I mean, this is the best game he's ever had because he handled adversity very well and he looks phenomenal. So he's just going to build on this, and I think he's going to be great. And we do have Kyle Cap in the comment section basically hating on Nick Sirianni after this win. And listen, this is what I'll say, Kyle. I'm not going to hate on Nick Sirianni personally because I don't think it's his total fault that players don't show up and perform. He's only going to be able to do with what he has and what he's working with. Yeah, him talking to the fans and talking shit to the fans, you could say it's a negative, but that's just him being fired up. And honestly, I'm okay with it. I like Nick Sirianni. I'm going to ride that train until he's out of here. And whatever. You could hate on him. I don't choose to do it. But
now
that's
the difference is if he would have did that this week after winning 28-3
we would have
instead of what
loved
he
it.
did last week,
Yeah.
it would just be more. It would make more common sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, I mean, if it helped the team and this any factor in the way that they played today, you could say it was worth it. But time will tell.
Yeah.
The only thing that I will say, and again, we've heard it that the locker room wants him to be more of himself and like be authentic and don't be like I don't even want to say like presidential or like a coach speak or like whatever type thing. So if that's what they're asking him to do and the players are feeding off of that, again to the outside world, it looks fucking like abnormal and just strange and again, it's not normal.
Yeah.
But if they keep beating teams 28-3, I mean, who's not gonna fucking love that?
Yep, exactly. I mean, we want these wins to be convincing, but we all know we're gonna have that down game where we're going to look like shit. We're not performing well. Everything's going wrong. We're turning the ball over. But as long as we win at this point and get into the playoffs, I know we have potential based off of the game today to win. So that's all I'm relying on, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Now, if we can make a couple moves or two at the deadline, I'll be okay with that. But as long as we keep winning, as long as we get a decent seed in the playoffs, I'm all right.
Now let's talk about Jalen Hurts because, like you said, he's the only. Again, I think. I mean, I'm gonna just say with this fan base and media, I think you would agree, Kyle. They were so fucking hard on this defense. Again, are they the 85 Bears, the 2000
Yeah.
Falcons, the 2010 49ers, the 2015 Denver Broncos? No. But they just held two NFL fucking teams
Mhm.
back to back weeks, 10 points or less.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll rebuttal off that real quick, and I'll let you resume talking. But Vic Fangio's defense, it looks spectacular at times, and it looks really bad at times. And the reason for that is because he's really good at containing a pocket passer. He's extremely good at keeping someone in the pocket and getting sacked and getting pressured. When it comes to these mobile quarterbacks, and I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson's not that fast, so I'm not gonna compare him.
Not anymore.
No. So, and he's really bad. So when it comes
You
to
got
a
hurt today too, right?
yeah, he got destroyed. Achilles. But when it comes to a mobile-esque quarterback that can run and put you on your heels, he hasn't been that good. So I mean, I'll give the fan base a little bit of leniency there, just because I do see where they're coming from at times.
But
But
at the end of the day, you're gonna say
yeah,
points, right?
at the end of the day, he's looked good for what he's put out there. So yeah.
And again, to me, and I remember Jim Schwartz saying, "Well, it's the scoreboard that matters." And again, look at the Super Bowl; they gave up all those points with Brandon Graham made that one play. Again, this is an offensive league. Your offense has to score points. That's how you win, and your defense has to, again, ultimately force turnovers, which we still need to work on 100%. And just to I don't even know, not to hold them to zero. And again, they've been doing an outstanding job again against two of the worst offenses, but these are still like you do it two times in a row, that's pretty good. If you do it once to the Cleveland Browns, but I mean, the Giants, yeah, Cincinnati hold them to 7. They played that close game against Dallas. They were really competitive against Washington too. They almost won that game.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is an NFL team, so I'm going to give the defense a lot of credit for what they did here these back-to-back weeks because they're playing against NFL players. Are they top tier? Hell no. These are two of the worst teams, like I just said. But they did their job. So going back to my other point, it is about the offense, and I want to get back to Jalen Hurts. I think now this is wishful thinking and maybe just me being optimistic, but do you believe, first of all, was this a confidence thing with him with not protecting the football, not seeing the blind side, the interceptions, which honestly, I don't know if you saw like a lot of Dak has more picks than Hurts now. And I think I think his interceptions, it wasn't like there was that many. Yeah, there was more than you wanted to see, but they were such bad interceptions. I think that's why the negativity brewed and us included. And again, we know he wasn't good enough in the two losses, of course, to Tampa and Atlanta. And we did lose those games because of him. Because if your quarterback plays good, 95% of the time you're going to win the game.
Correct.
So that's just reality, and he played good today. But do you think he can build off of this, having Saquon and AJ getting into a rhythm, being monsters that they are? Like, how are you not going to feel confident as a player being around those other players and getting them the ball? Do you agree?
Now, yes, this is where coaching comes into play. This particular circumstance is where coaching comes into play. So when you make designs for Jalen Hurts to see more activity down the field, that's where it comes into because now you have Saquon Barkley in the rhythm. Now you have AJ Brown back. Now you have Dallas Goedert was out today, but he'll be back eventually. You have all of these dynamic weapons that you can get open, whether it's a flat, whether it's a corner, whether it's whatever. You have the ability to get these guys open and have Jalen Hurts practice seeing closely, not down the field, closely within reach. Make the simple throws. Get these guys open. It's very simple. That comes coaching. When it comes to Jalen Hurts lining up under center and not in the shotgun as much, that'll help. If you're working in the shotgun 80% of the time, you're not going to really throw off anybody because people are expecting you to throw it or either run outside.
Exactly. And it
So
does have to do with play design for sure.
so that definitely that comes down to the coach. And I saw the coach and working with him under center this week, which is great.
Finally, right? Finally.
Yeah, and they got to do more than that.
Now,
So
I do want to respond to K&A Football's comment because he's saying, they were just Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones. But I don't know if you're an Eagles fan. I think you're a Giants fan, yeah, with your logo. So that's interesting. But, dude, you have to understand that this fan base is still a little scarred from last season because we lost to Drew Lock, Kyler Murray, and then Tyrod Taylor at the end of last year.
yeah.
And also, the fan base, again, we're diehards. And the Eagles fan base, it's either Super Bowl or we're dying. We're either the best team or the worst team. That's just how this fan base is, for better or worse. And that Tampa game, we thought we were like one of the worst teams in the league. We didn't know what the fuck to expect after that bye week. So that's why we're being more positive. All right, we have confidence now that we can beat fucking teams that are not as good as us. So that's just instilling confidence. All right, we're respectable. You know what I mean? The season's alive. We have a chance. The season can go anywhere from here. Anything is possible. So that is what these two past games and especially today proved. Do you agree, Kyle?
Oh yeah, 110%. And also I had to bring something up to this Giants fan. I think they are a Giants fan, like you said. It's crazy when your quarterback that you're paying $40 million a year, and I've seen this 5 times today. It didn't just happen once or twice. It happened 5 times. He actually had some time to throw, and what he would do is he'd hold on to the ball and start crow hopping up. When you're crow hopping, you are not an NFL quarterback. Like, I'm sorry, because your feet can't set the tone for what you're doing. You have to visualize it with your brain. All right, your feet are there to keep state on the you're there to put the feet on the ground, keep them there, and if you have to run away, run. But you can't rely on your feet to make your body make the throw. You cannot do that. It has to be in your brain, and he just doesn't have it. And he's from Duke. That's the fucked up part.
Kyle, why did I'm trying to think of someone that's getting paid what he's getting paid ever that was worse than him. The first thing comes to mind is Sam Bradford, but he was actually talented. Like
Yeah.
he could throw the football. He was very
Yeah.
accurate. He didn't win, but so much more talented than Daniel Jones. Like, can you think of someone that is worse than Daniel Jones that is, I mean, maybe Deshaun Watson right now, but I would say they're pretty even. Maybe Deshaun's a little bit worse, but
based off of what I saw in the second half today, probably Drew Lock.
I'm saying like someone that's gotten paid 40 million. That's what I'm
Someone
saying.
that's
Like,
gotten paid
why the fuck did they
40
pay him that contract? He's done nothing.
because
Nothing to
they got
that 9-7 season. He was not. Come on.
they were 11-5 that year.
No, they were 9-7.
No, they were 11-5.
No, that was with he wasn't there that OBJ season. Wasn't that still Eli?
Oh, no. He was. I'm talking about the 2022 season.
No, they were 9-7-1.
I don't think so, man.
No, yeah, they were.
All right,
They
let me
were
check that out. Let me see if you're right.
they
I'm pretty sure they were 11-5.
No, you're thinking of 2016 because that's the last time they made the playoffs. 2016 and 2022, and I don't think Daniel Jones was the quarterback in 2016. He definitely wasn't.
Third place NFC East. All right, so
Nine.
it would be 2022, 2023. Yeah, they were 9-7-1. You're right.
So the fact that one game above 500, going out to or they beat Minnesota. I'm sorry, he did get a playoff win. Whatever. But it's the eye test. He is nothing that he does. Honestly, nothing. All right, he's had those fucking nice 870-yard runs out of the blue. That's the most impressive thing he's ever done to me, and that's just irrelevant as a quarterback. It's not like he's not a Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson, even a Jalen Hurts. So again, how the fuck did they justify giving him that contract?
Because I think they panicked. They saw the market was in their favor at the time because you see the quarterbacks getting paid.
I would go after Kirk Cousins. I would do anything.
Yeah, but you see the quarterbacks getting paid $55 million. Imagine paying Kirk Cousins $60 million. That's absurd. And I like Kirk Cousins, but he's not worth that much.
He's a lot better than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, that's not saying much. Is Kirk Cousins going to win you a Super Bowl?
Who knows with the Falcons this year? Now, probably not. But he's probably going to go 11-6. I mean, that's what the Giants are just after. Fuck. I mean, of course they're going to get all cocky, just like Cowboys fans, if they ever even have a record that good. Yeah. But again, they're so delusional that they think that they can even brag or talk about anything. Because year after year, you have losing seasons. You just need to get back to 9-8, fucking 8, whatever. It used to be 8-8. They're just chasing that.
Yeah.
If they have a 9-8, obviously they're not going to finish 9-8 this season now. That being at 2-5, but even an 8-9, that would be good for them. They can't even get to be average.
No. Absolutely not.
That's how bad it is. So it's why pay a quarterback $40 million to win 3 games? You guys won't have anyone. Might as well have Drew Lock.
It's not that they can't get to average. They can't even get to shit. Shit's a step up from where they want to be. They're that bad. You could literally put them in an AFL franchise right now, and they'd get beat by AFL teams. They're that bad. And I'm
that's a good question.
Serious.
I'm gonna say obviously it was a good win, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Was it the Giants being bad, or was it the Eagles game plan and coaching that resulted to what we saw today, or a combination of both?
A combination of both, but at the end of the day, scoring 28 points and limiting your opponent to 3, and anyone could kick a field goal, let's be real. So limiting your opponent to 3 at their place, you can't say anything negative about it. But yes, it is a combination of both because I do want to see it on a consistent basis. Scoring 28 points is great. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. I just want to see more of it.
No, 100%. Like we said, this is something great to build off of. And it just, again, it felt so good finally to get a dominating win where we controlled almost the entire game except for, that first half of the first quarter, whatever. But again, as soon as they scored that first touchdown, it was almost just like, it just felt like old times, I
Yeah,
guess you could say, against the Giants. Right?
yeah.
I think that's a good way to put it.
It felt like 2022 all over again, and it's crazy. And a lot of people will blame Nick Sirianni, call him a piece of shit, whatever you want to do. But the fact of the matter is, this time about 9 months ago, we went into MetLife Stadium and we couldn't stop them to save our lives. And the fact that we went in there and pretty much played the same exact team, adding Malik Neighbors and shut them down, I'm saying he's doing a pretty good job. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Well,
And
you
I'm
just proved
really
my
proud of
point
it.
again. You said it's the exact same team. We played Tyrod Taylor. So basically, Tyrod and Daniel Jones. I honestly think Tyrod Taylor's better than
I think he
Daniel
is better.
Jones.
I agree.
Exactly. So I just don't understand that signing and contract at all. And if I was a Giants fan, thank God I'm not. I would just. And there's nothing to defend your quarterback, but like when, like again, there was a kind of a reason to defend Sam Bradford because you saw some type of talent there. Obviously, Nick Foles, we saw what he did.
Mhm.
Carson Wentz, like they all these people, they had shining moments where it's like, oh my god, I see why this person was a first round pick or a third round pick in Nick Foles' case. There's never been again. Only thing I've seen is those 70-yard runs that he's done sporadically I don't know. Has there been a clutch moment? Maybe that one Packers game last year or whenever the hell that was in London. It's been so few and far between. Like Dak Prescott is so much better than him. Like he is the worst quarterback besides Deshaun Watson in the league. And of course, someone just made that comment. Our defense just beat those two. But I already said why I was optimistic and positive about that. But we're focusing on the Giants right now here, real quick. And again, we said in the offseason, they put up with this shit. It's not like they're out there with pitchforks or like us, like fucking run the ball with the sign at the fucking Nova here. They don't do anything shit like that. They
No.
show up on game day. They're cocky as fuck. They're burning jerseys in the parking lot, but nothing changes because you guys have that same weird optimistic attitude. Again, if we finish the season 3-13, am I gonna be posting on IG with my fucking Eagles jersey and out here and like, oh yeah, we're gonna win? Fuck no, because I know we're not gonna win.
Yeah.
They do this shit like it's like a brand new day and nothing like yesterday didn't even happen.
And you're making a very valid points here. And I'm actually going to bring this up between our fans for a little bit because I think the Philadelphia Eagles fan base within the whole Philadelphia Eagles section of any fan base in the city, I think the Eagles fans know when the team is good and when the team is bad. Like they'll always rep them, but they won't have that false hope like they did about the Phillies
We're
or
not gonna
Sixers
post
this
on
year.
social media that we're gonna win or get Super Bowl. If we That's
Yeah.
what these teams do.
Like they're not gonna have that false hope about the Phillies winning the World Series or the Sixers winning the NBA Finals when they don't have a good enough team to do it. Like they're just slumping and they're like, yeah, we're still gonna win. We still have a chance. When it comes to the Eagles, we know when we're not good enough to win. We know it. And that's the difference. That's
It
why the
doesn't
Eagles,
matter if it's a division rival, whatever. Like, why would I pump my chest if I'm not confident or I
yeah,
know what I know?
yeah,
Just because I'm the Eagles, like just because I'm the Giants and won Super Bowls in the 80s and the 2000s, like,
mhm,
bro, it's 2024.
yeah,
Nothing matters 10, 5, 15, 20 years ago. It
mhm.
does not matter. And like that stadium was sold out. I saw a lot of fucking blue on TV. They're still there buying jerseys, doing all that shit. So if this is the product that you want, keep giving them your money. Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, a majority of people that do that are also season ticket holders, and they like to get drunk, so they have an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, but
Um,
we'd be in misery.
oh,
We
we'd be
spending thousands to see that.
yeah, but I mean, to be fair, when we were 6-10, like my first game ever was New Year's Day 2006 when Sean Taylor, rest his soul, ran it back from
Yeah,
what
but
was
you
our
were
place?
you were a kid.
Yeah, what was our place holder's name? He was our Coy Detmer. He fumbled the ball. Sean Taylor ran it back, and the Redskins got into the playoffs. And that was my first game ever as a Philadelphia Eagles fan live. And we were sold out. The whole stadium was completely sold out, and we were 6-10. So I
Yeah, but
understand where you're coming from.
we
But
were just coming off of those
true,
NFC Championship
true,
seasons.
true.
So
So it's a little different.
yeah, like again, just to wrap up that Giants combo again, like we set this today, we set them back. It was a big reality check that you suck again. You had again had that little bit of hope. You actually won a game or two. Like you weren't 0-6 to start the year, like you have been.
Yep.
But yeah, you're not making the playoffs. You're a number one pick candidate.
Yeah. No, and the funny thing about them is they could have been a number one pick candidate, but they wanted to get cute and beat some teams in the beginning of the year. Now they're not a number one pick candidate.
top five, maybe, right? Top
Maybe
five.
top 7 or 8.
But
Who's back
honestly,
there?
they need a Sanders or like, a Jaden Daniels type, because if you don't have that, you're never gonna be better. Now again, can you do better than Daniel Jones, the 32 ranked quarterback in the league? Yeah, again, like Kyle, I'm taking anyone over him. Like
I
legit,
think
anyone.
I think Bryce Young could be better than him.
I mean, it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously. No, it really, really is. All right, let's get back to the birds. Obviously, we're going to have our, weekly Wednesday show to break down the Bengals game. But again, we just got these 2 wins coming off the bye. Obviously, last week did not feel like a win. Again, we're honest Eagles fans. We're not going to say like, "Oh my God, yeah," we understand what happened last week. Today was a good win. So where does this reset your expectations moving forward? Obviously, we know we have the Bengals, Jags, and Cowboys and Washington on the horizon within the next month. I mean, it's hard to not be confident right now because of AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley.
Right now, I'm going to put us in the second round of the playoffs. That's where my confident level is. It's not so much Super Bowl anymore. It's not NFC title game anymore. It's second round of the playoffs as it stands right now. Can we get better? Absolutely, we can get better. But it's really up to the players to buy in. It's up to the coaches to put together the perfect coaching game plan possible every single week. And the sky's the limit. But right now, I have them at a second round playoff loss as it stands.
No, yeah, I think that's pretty respectable for sure. Again, it's such a week to week league. Again, we heard all week the Nick Peterson, Nick Sirianni talk, the negativity, and again, that was justified for me, not you so much. You didn't really care about it.
Mhm.
But of course, tomorrow you listen to WIP or anything, it's going to be very, very positive. So it's like we're such an
Yeah.
overreaction city. And you
Mhm.
can go ahead. You want to make a point?
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I'm going to piggyback off of what you said and I just said. So I'm watching the Seagulls game, and they're just blowing out the Giants. Everyone just knows the Giants suck. But then right next to me at the bar, you have the Lions versus Minnesota Vikings, and that was probably the game of the game of the year so far. These teams are going
Which we
back and
knew it. We
forth.
knew it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had the Vikings as number one on my power rankings and Detroit number two in my power rankings. And they looked like 1 and 2 in my book. They are the cream of the crop in the NFC right now. And honestly, it's not close. So it's like the Eagles have to do something to match that level of play. And can they do it? Sure, but we'll have to see. It's still early.
I mean, look, we also lost to Tampa and Atlanta.
Yeah.
So you got to say like we're probably behind them at this point too,
Yeah.
because again, if again, now we know the defense played well against Atlanta. Now that was Monday night, our home opener, but I think we still know how to beat Kirk Cousins if we do have to play them again. We have beaten him in the past,
Yep.
but the offense has to show up. Like, and again, we didn't have AJ Brown in that game against Atlanta, but again, it does fall again on the quarterback's shoulders. So I think he's still the only question mark because we should win with this roster at this point.
Hmm.
And again, we were playing with Fred Johnson today, didn't have Jordan Mailata, no Dallas Goddard, and you still won 28-3.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of reasons for optimism and to be positive. It really just depends on the quarterback. And again, there's no excuses when you have two of the top three players in some of the most like exciting, important positions in all of football. I mean, you could say running back, no, but when you have a Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, they change the game. But especially AJ Brown, there's really not an excuse to have an off day at the office on offense.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. And consistency is the key word here. Can they be consistent? Can they look like they did today for 7 weeks out of 8? We'll see what happens. But today was a good day, fun to watch, fun
And
to.
his schedule is not hard. It
No,
really isn't.
no. That's why I'm saying we could get to the divisional round. But right now, looking at the Vikings and Lions, they're better than us. And I'm not even going to say a little. They're better than us.
Yeah,
So I mean,
I think they're tier one, and I think I would still put us like tier two
I think we're
of the
like
NFC.
two. I think we're bottom of two tier. I think right now, like you said, I would put us behind
Oh,
Detroit Vikings. I'm still going to go San Fran because everyone's going to come back, and the Buccaneers. So I
you
have us
think we're
down.
better than Atlanta?
I think we're a little bit better than Atlanta. I think that was just luck at the end of
Yeah,
that game.
yeah, we should have won
Uh-huh.
100%. Kyle Cap is back. We need to win in spite of Nick Sirianni. Why can't we ever throw short? Why? Check it down. Well, we heard they again with AJ Brown being back. I heard this all week that they're going to throw deep, and the past 2 weeks it has worked. And they're only throwing deep because they have AJ Brown. Now, do want to be a more conservative team and just move the ball down the field, pick up the first down? Yes, but you can't hate if it works and you have that talent to make it work. They're not throwing the ball to our old friends Nelson Aguilar and Jordan Matthews and trying to make it work. You're throwing it to, I mean, you could call him the best receiver in the league right now. You really fucking could. I'll say top three. If
Yeah.
he does it one more game, I might have to put him number one. We saw what he did last year on that 6, 7 game streak, 150 yards or more. So that man has earned our respect. He's a first team All Pro. He's on the road to the Hall of Fame at this point. Seriously,
He's the cream of the crop, the tip of the top, the diamond in the rough. I mean, you could
a
call him
hundred
whatever you
percent,
want.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna, it's not the week or the game or the time to criticize the head coach. I think he deserves some praise today.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Now, guys, we are going a little bit over on our time when it comes to post game. We enjoy you guys being here. I have to watch some playoff baseball because I have to find out who my team is playing in the World Series because I'm on the other side when it comes to baseball. But I just want to tell you guys, I love you guys tuning in every single week. This is a great show. We're just getting bigger. We're growing. This is the fastest growing show in the Eagles fan base by far. And we want to thank you for the support. If you want to do us a favor and hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel, that would help. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say today. And thanks, Matt Weeks. I really appreciate it. I know that pisses. This is what I'll say right now. Okay, I know that pisses a lot of people off within the Philly fan base, and I'll tell you this. I understand that the Phillies fell short this year. And listen, I give them some tough love sometimes. But at the end of the day, the Yankees, they're not in the same league as the Philadelphia Phillies when it comes to like bashing them or rivals. They just play each other once a year, 3 games. It's not like the New York Mets, who you guys should hate with a passion. So I'm hoping that you guys are not rooting for the Mets when they play in the World Series against the Yankees. That's all I'll say. And I grew up in
And isn't
Chambers.
that so weird? Like,
Yeah.
that would never happen in football. Like, why would you be rooting for a division rival to win?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And another thing you gotta know about me, I grew up in Chambersburg, Trenton, big Italian area. Back then, Italians loved the New York Yankees. My dad loved the New York Yankees, so I just stuck with them, and I never went away from them. And I never could grasp the fandom of the Phillies. Never could. Didn't like their colors, didn't like anything about them, but I like the other teams, and that's all that matters. So pretty much that.
100%.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off what Kyle said, it was a great win. Obviously, love doing the show with Kyle. Love you guys commenting, interacting. Can't wait to keep it up. Go Birds! Great win against the Giants, division rival. A nice NFC East NFC win. We're 1-0 in the division. It was a big, big win to get this one. And we'll see you on Wednesday for Bengals week.
We will be back for Bengals week, and Bengals week is going to be tough because we never beat those bastards. But we
And
will be back.
the game's at 1 now.
The game is at 1 now because we both suck, apparently. All right, we're gone. Bye.